you, Jim.
Good.
Next, should we go to Miguel?
Hi. Oh, how can I tell you? Before pandemic, I used to live in London, and I started going to meetups from the quantum computing group that were working that time in London, and I started to be interested on it. I am a software developer, but my background is from electrical engineering, so I studied a bit of quantum physics and linear algebra at the university, and mixed those things in my love for math, for physics, and for software. So this thing captivated me at the first time, no? So I started buying books, the Nielsen about quantum computing, started studying, but very soon I realized that it was very difficult for me to progress because there is nothing that is not that difficult. That is pretty difficult for sure, but there is not as you have said, Esperanza. I need a real course, something that someone guides me, put me exercises, things like that. And for example, with the Kiss book, I have the problem that I try to do the exercises. Maybe I do them, but I cannot verify if I am doing them right or not. So, and what is my leitmotif? Only interest, only out of curiosity. Probably it will be interesting for my field. I work in a health company. Probably it will be interesting for my field in a year's time, but I don't think I will work on that. It's only out of curiosity.
Well, I started that way too, Miguel. I mean, and I do this for my personal development. Mm-hmm. That's my main goal. Will this crystallize somehow into professional growth? It could be. It could be. We don't know yet. However, at this point, I think that when you start doing things because of your personal development, then things arise. The thing is, we don't know yet. We don't know how this quantum thing is going to crystallize. On the other hand, there is also people who do this because they are very career focused into the quantum field. They know exactly how they want to enter the field, and that is also great. And from what you're saying, what I think is that probably a structured approach in a course with guidance as well as this group is an approach that could work good for you. So I encourage you to browse through the different courses on the DEX, on MITx Pro, or others you might find, and go ahead with them.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Thanks, Miguel.
Thank you. Berend, am I pronouncing that right? We'll give Berend maybe a minute. We'll move on to Richard. Please feel free to put in the chat if you're having microphone issues. Andrew.
Hi there, thank you. I'm Andrew Snyder, and I'm just outside of New York in the States, and I've been interested in this space. My background is in electrical engineering undergrad and management of technology, MS. And a good friend of mine actually went to Caltech and had Richard Feynman as a lecturer out there. And in sort of my interest in the quantum mechanics space, learned about sort of his early conjecture as to advances possible with these sort of next level technologies. I also grew up right in the shadow of Bell Labs and Murray Hill, which is sort of a center of innovation for quite a few years. And being in IT, I guess I'm entering my third decade now, I'm old enough to remember the excitement and the momentum behind the microcomputer wave, if you will. And I'm sort of experiencing that feeling again with new possibilities and, as a number of you said, things that we don't even know what we'll be able to solve. So that actually got me interested in attending the New York City quantum computing meeting around 2017, so about 4 years. Also before the pandemic, it was always in person.
I'm going to talk in a minute.
Oh.
I'm going to talk in a minute.
I think Baron's microphone's working. I'll be quick.
We have a new member joining.
Just want to say quickly that forums like this are fantastic. I can't tell you how many notes I've taken, for moving forward, learning more in this direction. Including the Purdue MicroMasters, and I had actually started the MIT X Pro. It was originally only $200. I know this because I was enrolled in it. Unfortunately, encountered some health issues, had to drop, and haven't been able to afford going back to that. But got the Bible, if you will, which I've been studying since then. The Trying, Isaac Trying, and Michael Nielsen book, and just trying to get as much information as I can and meet and interface with people that are excited and enthusiastic about it, like all of you. So thanks for having me here. And sorry, Baron, if your mic's okay, I'll be quiet. Thank you.
No, it's been great. It's been great, Andrew, to know about your journey and your experience and your excitement. And I think that this is also what communities are about, right? It is about learning together and also getting to know each other a little bit more. So next time you guys are working through a problem or something, you know also a little bit about the background of everyone in the group, which can also help you to advance. And yeah, I think at the end of the day, it is very much also about connecting with people, and it's great to see so many talented individuals from so many different backgrounds and so eager to know and help each other. That is great. So thank you, Andrew, for your insights.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Berend?
Okay. I hope you can see me. Okay, so
Yeah,
hi. First time. So I'm a doctor, so I come from a totally different background, but you were talking about applications, and I hope that coming from an outside perspective, I might be able to help with some applications. I'm quite impressed by the people present here. Currently, I'm doing the qubit by qubit course to get me up to scratch with linear algebra. Obviously, that is not exactly my strength. Having said this, I always loved physics when I was in school. It was my number one sort of subject. Nevertheless, I decided then to go into medicine, and hopefully in a sort of long circle, I can come back. For me, it's currently just a hobby, but I have that feeling that quantum computing and perhaps also the merger of quantum sensing and quantum computing could become something really big. Hopefully it won't be like nuclear fusion, where we always think it would be the next day and then it's 50 years down the line. But my personal feeling is that it will be very exciting, and quantum computing will change the world, literally. I strongly believe in this. And so hopefully I'm here. And it's really interesting that we're having so many people from different backgrounds, that perhaps it is often when you have this level of diversity that you can actually then sort of work towards new ideas and applications. As someone said before, there probably will be applications you haven't even thought about, or by talking to each other, by sort of having that imagination, perhaps we'll get there in the end.
Yeah, Berend, right? Did you say it right? Berend?
That's correct.
Yeah. And you mentioned a course that I didn't, and that's also a very good one. I have heard very good opinions. The program by Qubit. It's apparently a very good one, and I also I will also, if any of you, it's for free as far as I know, and I will also encourage some of you to take a look. And yeah, Berend said something also very important, which is being a diverse community, bringing people from all different backgrounds and see what happens. And the intersection of quantum with biology and medicine, healthcare also, there are very interesting lines of research there and very necessary too.
Thank you so much, Berend and Esperanza. Mahfouz? We'll maybe come back to Mahfouz. David?
Oh, Mahfouz is writing, and he said he's a physics graduate, practical, Yeah, the computer side of things, yeah, that's a complex one, right? Our complex machines. And yeah, now it's, I also like being in an exploratory side or phase, as Mahfouz said. That's great, and that phase is very creative when you are thinking about different ideas and you're still considering different perspectives. That is great. Mahfouz, I don't know, I am struggling with your name and I'm so sorry. And it's very interesting. It's very interesting to meet people, you know, in that phase, because that will maybe determine what is going to happen next.
Thank you. David? Maybe we'll come back to David and you can write in the chat. Powell, am I pronouncing that right?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm the data analyst. I work for an insurance company right now, and I had some dealing with quantum computing in the university time. I did some quantum calculations on chemical compounds, and now in my work I deal with a lot of data. So naturally, I am interested in the future of computation. So when I heard about quantum computers, I naturally was drawn to it. So now I joined this group to learn about the how-tos, because I have some background in physics, but the calculations and programming is, as everybody said, really hard. So yeah, just wanna see how the future of dealing with data and computation is gonna pan out in the future. So yeah, and learn from everybody and see people from all around the world.
Yeah, that's great, Powell. That's great, and again, quantum data processing is an idea that I can even see now, but if it can be done, it will be done. So this stage is also thinking broadly and exploring new technology and see where all of this can lead.
Yeah. Right now it's in the early stage, but you know, like you need years, I think, of practice. So if we start now, then later when we have applications, like we'll be ready for the evolution of computation.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you, Powell. I think we've gone through everybody. Is there anyone that I've missed off or who couldn't speak before and has access to their mic? It doesn't look like it. Well, thank you so much, Esperanza. And before we say our sort of final thank yous and wrap up, I just want to hand over to Jude, who's been listening intently to everyone and where they're at, and just to discuss some ways that we could perhaps go forward with this group from everything that we've learned tonight.
Hi everyone. So thank you again, Esperanza, for your wonderful inputs, and thank you everyone for you know, telling us all about where you're coming from, and you know, bravely telling us what your difficulties have been thus far. Obviously, you know, this group, we're trying to feel our way around the best way of working, so we're very open to changing how we're working. And you know, I think some of the themes in terms of pain points that people have mentioned, basically along the lines of things like, you know, making the interaction easy, solving the ambiguities, forces.
Is it only me who's lost Jude, or can anyone else hear Jude?
I've lost him too, I guess.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, I can't hear him.
He's maybe having some connection problems.
Just give him a minute, see if he... Maybe Jude will be able to return before the before we reach the hour. But I just want to...
I think I'm
yeah,
back again.
Here you are.
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, so I think where I was getting at was that you know, there are some options, some low maintenance options that we could do as a group to help to satisfy and solve those problems. And one of those is effectively, or one of the ones which I have in my mind is effectively contributing you know, a solution to a group repository of solutions to the Qiskit exercises, with a focus more on explaining how and why the solution works, rather than on anything else. So if people are, for example, familiar with version control software, that would be one way of effectively getting the group to put their solutions in and share with everyone else. That might mean that, you know, one person has a solution to a problem that has stumped someone else, and they've added an explanation which makes it clear to them. This doesn't, of course, negate you know, the option of other kind of practical problem-based projects like for the packing of the train example that Jim nicely put forward. But that's one way I've been thinking about this issue. Any thoughts on that? Any agreement? Any kind of counterpoints that people would like to add?
Perhaps you can always add your feedback to the Slack channel as well, and if there's any things that you can think of that you'd like, the way you'd like the session to be ran. I'll just put a link to the Slack channel actually here for anyone who doesn't have access.
Oh, sorry, I just realised my audio wasn't working, and it's now working. Would you mind repeating that, please?
I was just saying it can put your ideas in the Slack channel as well if anything comes to anyone. But
yeah, I guess from a perspective of organising something highly interactive like what I'm proposing, my biggest role will probably be in trying to make it as smooth and as easy as possible for people to get started and to roll along with it. But I will add a message in the Slack channel to give people a more concrete understanding of where I'm going with.
Berend also asks if you mean that if we understand it, we can explain it to others, which I think. Yes.
So I think, so I think I'm viewing a repository as, on the one hand, a source of code, but more importantly, as a source of the thoughts of the person who solved the code. So, for example, I might really struggle with understanding how a Toffoli gate works. And if there's an exercise, and I know there are exercise in the Qiskit textbook around Toffoli gates that has been solved by someone else and added to this public repo, and I can read that and understand the thought patterns, and hopefully that will help get through that mental fog.
That would be really great. We could have kind of a common repo for this group, and we could the best way for everyone to understand would be to document everything. If anyone is contributing something, it would be great if the contributor can document as to how he got about it, how he went forward with it, I guess.
Yes, exactly. And I guess the principle would be, to over explain things.
Yes, and I guess listening to everyone and looking at the people in this community. There are people in this community that are coming from a really wide background. So we could start off with a common repo, maybe even have a session, a sprint, kind of a sprint session, where since we have people from various backgrounds, where they could suggest a small little problem statement, and if it's introductory enough, all of us can chime in and start working with the intention that everyone understands at least most of what's happening in the project, or in the little group project which will be contributed to Quantum London group, I guess.
Super. So if
one
anyone
one small thing I would also like to mention is that I guess the Qiskit advocate applications are gonna start around June, and the final dates will be around August. So to grow the community as a whole, I guess it would be a great starting point where we can start with small stuff, and if possible, we can go with bigger projects and just contribute to the main repos of Qiskit or Circ or QSharp if we document everything properly. Because if we document it properly, it's going to be sort of a tutorial too, because everyone's looking around to understand in this community, which can be scaled up to the global audience too, in the name of the community.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I guess if everyone is comfortable with running a shared repo and adding the odd textbook solution from time to time, we might be able to build something which we can reference repeatedly and can help people really, understand what's going on and iron out any ambiguities.
Is there any other point?
Well, I guess that's sorry.
No, go on, Jude. Is there any other sort of wrapping up points you wanted to ask, or?
Not at present. I have some thoughts, but I overcomplicate matters.
Maybe for the next session.
So yeah, maybe
Sure.
for next time. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Jude. Just want to say a huge thank you to Esperanza for joining us. It has been so brilliant to share your insights and have you here. And I know that we said we would only use an hour, but I think it was so engaging that it was too good an opportunity not to use both hours to gather your insights. I'm sorry that we kept you for longer than planned.
No, of course, no. It's been great to be talking to you, to all of you. I hope that with this round, in a way, this has contributed to, in a way, bring even more cohesion, making more cohesive this community, so each one knows a little bit more about each one. And I feel sorry that in the end we end up talking and you didn't use your hour to study, but then knowing the rest of the people is in a way also a way of studying because you know more about them. So I hope I can contribute to that somehow, and it's been great being with you.
Definitely, and you're completely right. It's been such a good use of the time, and thank you so much. I'll hope to see you soon, and hope to
Great, count on that, of course. All right.
Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Have a good evening.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Take care now.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye, take care.